The following is a system overview for the ABSTAC Best Practice Grading System. What I'm going to show you is a system that is vanilla in nature that will allow us to build out a system to critique any individual in any department that produces reports at the team level, summary by employee level, actual critiques, and links to best practices associated with the skills inside those critiques. It's going to start by adding a department, then adding a team, then adding a role within that team and assigning it to it, adding development areas that apply to that role, adding skills that apply to the development area, and then adding events that we will associate skills with that fall within the development area. We will then be able to add an employee and critique an event by selecting the skills that are associated with those events. Once these have been completed, it will produce a report by the team level within a department across the development areas and the skills, an employee summary report by development areas, then an employee detail report at the critique level, links to the actual critique of the event, and then links to best practices that are at the skill level that fall within the events that are being critiqued. So, let me show you how this works. First thing is we will need to set up a department. So the software should have a very simple interface. We need nothing fancy at all whatsoever. In which case we click Manage Departments. It comes to a screen that says Add a Department. Then we add the department name, type in the box, click Save. If we ever need to manage that department, then of course we might need to edit that name of the department simply by clicking on the name of the department, typing over it, and then saving it. If we ever need to delete a department, then we should be able to click Delete, click on the department name, say yes, I want to delete it, and then save it for the update. Now when we click Manage Teams, we should be able to add a team, type team name into the box, click Save, and that falls into a list of team names. Now if we ever need to edit, the same is true. Just click on the name of the team, type over it, click Save, and that updates the team name. Now once we've made a team, we need to assign that team to a department. So on this screen it should show the departments that we've put in. We select the department that this team is going to belong to, click the arrow, drops it over into the box on the right, in which case we select from the team name. We say we are now putting this team into this department, moves it over to the box, and now we need to confirm in Department 2 we are adding Team Name 1, and we click Save, and that is updated. Team 1 is now associated with Department 2. Now when we get into, and of course we need to, if we need to be able to delete a team, we can click Delete Team, click the name, say yes, I want to delete that team, save. Now when we select Main or Manage Roles from the main navigation, it pulls us to Manage Roles. We want to add a role, type in the role name, click Save. If we ever need to edit a role, we can click Edit Role, type on the team name, change the name by typing over it, click Save. If we ever need to delete a role, we simply click Delete Role, then select the name that we want to click. Yes, I want to delete it, and then click Save, and that role is deleted. Now, Manage Development Areas follows the same system. Simply click Manage Development Areas, takes us to this screen. We want to add a development area, type the development area name in the box, click Save. If we ever need to edit a development area, we click Manage Development Areas, click on the name of the development area that is there, type over it to change the name, and click Save. Voila, it's updated. Same goes for deleting that development area. Click the delete development area, click the development area name that we want to delete, and say yes, this is the development area that we want to delete, and then click save. Done. Now, manage skills. Here's where it gets fun. We want to manage a skill. So we click manage skills, we add a skill, type in the skill name, click save. Now we want to have criteria associated with that skill. So we want to add criteria, click the type the name of the criteria in the box, click save. That stores it in the background. Now if we want to add a best practice associated with this criteria or this skill, we click add best practice, type in the best practice name. Here we have options. We need to select, is it a video that we are uploading? Is it, or putting in the URL for actually, is it audio that we are adding to this best practice, and then put in the URL? And is it a document that we are referencing that we're going to put in the URL? Simply add the name, select the type, move it over. So now we are confirming we are adding a best practice. That is a video, and here is the URL for it, and then we click save. Very simple. Now on the screen we want to build the grading system, or build the skill grading system. So up above we added a criteria. In this example we're saying this skill needs criteria 2. So here's the name. We click that, moves over into the box. We have a grading system. The existing grading systems inside the system are 1 to 10, 1 to 5, 1 to 3, and yes or no. Move that over, and now we want to confirm. We are adding criteria 2, grading system 1 to 3, and then we want to click save. Now if we're adding a best practice, we're simply going to highlight or click on the best practices that we want to use, select to move it over into the box where we confirm, it populates, and then we click save. So in this example, we are confirming that criteria 2 with grading system 1 to 3 has the following 3 best practice options, all out of the pre-existing menu, and then we click save. And that creates the skill that will go into the event that we are going to critique. Now if we ever needed to edit the skill, so we would click the edit skill button. It'll have the skill name. You can change the name of it by typing over it, click save. If we want to edit the skill grading system, we would say, okay, here is the existing criteria associated with that. Move it over, select the grading system. So now we have grading system 2, or I'm sorry, criteria name 2, grading system 1 to 3, editing the best practice, and we're saying, okay, we no longer need the other best practices, so we would click on them here, click the arrow, which would move them back over here, and we would say, okay, now we want best practice name 4, click, moves best practice name 4 over here, and we click save. And now we edited that skill. If we ever needed to delete a skill, we would click delete skill, select the skill name, click yes, I want to delete that skill, and then click save, and it's gone. Done. Bye. Now the next step is managing an event. So here we are selecting events that need to be graded inside our system. We click manage an event, we click add event, type in the event name into the box, and now we need to build events from existing skills. So we have skill 1, skill 2, skill 3, skill 4, skill, this could go on forever. In this event, let's just say for fun that it is a phone call. We select skill 2, move it over, and add it, and it populates in the list. Now this skill needs to be assigned to a role that we previously added in the system. We scroll down, we select the name of the role that features this skill. Move it over with the arrow. Here we have role named 2 that we are assigning this skill and event 2. This skill and event needs to fall within a development area. So we simply select the development area name 1, hit the arrow, move it over, and click save. Now what we are doing is we have saved that this event named phone call requires skill 2, is associated with role 2, which could be a closing sales rep, and is critiquing their development area, which could be their presentation. And then we click save. And now we have an event that is a template that exists in the future for us to do critiques with. If we ever need to edit the event, same thing applies. You click edit event, find the one that you want to edit. So maybe this is event name 1. We select that and we say, okay, great. It's going to pre-populate here with the skill components that are associated with that event. And we say, okay, we don't need 1 anymore. Click it, it goes over there. We don't need 4 anymore. Click it, it goes over there. We want to add 2. So we click it from the menu, move it over to the right, and now we have skill 2 associated with it. Scroll down, assign to role. If we ever, let's say that it was associated with role 1, we remove that and we say now it is associated with role name 2. Click that, move it over, easy. Same thing with the development area, and we say, you know what, it's no longer associated with this development area, it's associated with this development area. Click the area, move it, and save it. And we just edited that event template to fit the current need. If we ever need to delete the event template because they just don't exist anymore, they're not necessary, click it, say yes, I want to delete it, and click save, and it updates and it goes bye-bye. Now, how do we manage an employee? We manage an employee, we click manage user, add employee, type in their name in the box, assign them to a role, so they are role name 2, click it, move it over to the box, and hit save. And we've just added an employee named John Doe. They are a closer, moved it over, and now we saved them as a closer. And if we ever need to edit the employee, we click employee name, which populates all the names down here, and we say, okay, great, this person is no longer in role name 1, click it, role 1 goes over. Click role name 4, click it, comes over, populates a box, and we click save, and we've now edited that person's role that is associated with that employee. If we ever need to delete the employee, we just delete, or click delete employee. This should say employee name, not skill name. And then we say, okay, yes, I want to delete that employee, click save, and now he's gone, bye-bye. So now we want to critique an event. So we have an event that is a phone call, let's say. So we click it and we want to create an event. We want to add a critique. We need to select the employee that we are critiquing. Select their name, click on the arrow, it populates over here in the confirmation side. Now we're going to select an event. What event are we critiquing? Well, we're critiquing event 1 in this case. Could be a phone call, could be a any task that we want to critique for that person. Could be a close, could be an open, could be a welcome call, could be a save, could be anything. Whatever it is, select it, move it over here. It winds up on the confirmation side. And we need to give a critique a unique identifier. So we type that in the text box. So maybe it's the employee name, task, date, whatever it is. It's just a field. Then we click save, and now it creates a form. In which case we say, oh, it pre-populates the employee name, pre-populates the date, pre-populates the name of the critique right here, name of the critique, and shows it is event 1 that we are critiquing, which came from this box over here. Now, the magic happened, and that is that all of the development areas that are associated with that type of a critique that we are critiquing which in this case could be the phone call, pulls up development areas which are named. So here's skill name 1, here's the critique name 1, the item that we are critiquing, and then here is the grading scale. Okay? Or I'm sorry, here's the criteria that we are critiquing. So we have development area, which could be salesmanship, this could be rapport, and this would be whatever criteria is associated with that. Let's say mirroring, let's say pace, let's say volume. And are they doing it on a scale of 1? Whatever it is, whether you selected 1 to 10, 1 to 5, 1 to 3, yes or no. Here, this skill name 2, inside salesmanship, could be asking for the order. And criteria would be, are they assertive? Do they ask the person to buy? Do they assume the sale, which would have a scale of yes, they are assertive, yes, they ask for the person to buy, and yes, they assume the sale, whatever the grading scale is. And that's how it works. And the end of this development area here, there would be a notes field, in which case the critiquer could type in any notes that are associated with it. Then development area named 2 populates in here, and this could be a product. And it could say, did they describe or click to call? And it could say, did they tell them that it's based on a real-time auction environment? Yes or no. Did they tell them that it is a cost of the click to call? Yes. Did they quote an accurate industry click to call? Yes. Whatever it may be. These things will all pre-populate based on the development area and the skill associated with it and the criteria that we have added to those skills on the events. And again, a place here for notes where they can say at 5 minutes and 29 seconds into the call, the person, made this mistake. Development area 3 loads. There could be many development areas associated with it. There could be one development area, whatever it may be. At the end of doing that critique, they click save. Then that critique goes into the system. Okay. Now, a couple things on the grading scale that we just talked about over here. The grading scale rules would be as follows. On a grading scale of 0 to 10, if they scored 0 to 4, then it would come in red. 5 to 6, the cells on the report would turn yellow. 7 to 10, the cells would turn green. 0 to 5, here's the rule, 0 to 2, red, 3, yellow, 4 to 5, green. 0 to 3, 0 or 1, red, 2, yellow, 3, green, and here's yes or no. Yes is green, no is red. Simple. So now, why do we do all this? We do all this so we can log in and pull a team report. So the managers would log in, click team report, and then they would see this screen here, which has their development areas listed at the top so they can flip back and forth between those development areas. Here is the name of each person on their staff that is associated with their team. So if I wanted to view salesmanship here by all of the closers, then here you would see Jimmy Page has skill name 1, he's got a 7. Skill name 2, which maybe needs analysis, he scores a 9 and is green. He uses the summary close properly, so he scores a 7. On setting solid appointments, he's only average. He can use some work there because he's only got a 5. On properly presenting price, he scores a 9. It's awesome. In all, he scored a 37 out of all the critiques that have ever been put in the system, so he is averaging 74%. So he's green, so Jimmy Page is pretty good. However, you see Jimmy Buffett here is an absolute mess. Fails completely at skill 1, fails completely at needs analysis, fails completely at the summary close, does okay on setting a solid appointment, properly presents price accurately, but is failing miserably from a skill set point within salesmanship. Now, if I were to click on presentation or script or product, all of these would change to the skills associated with that development area and these reps on my team level. So now you can see this is going to be useful for the management, because you can see David Lee Roth here in this example is horrible and getting lots of red. So he needs to be either trained up or terminated, and his average grade is a 30%. Most importantly, when it comes to weekly training for the manager, they'll be able to look at the groups of skills that are necessary to succeed and say, okay, you know what? We don't need to cover skill 1 right now because we're killing it. We're doing pretty good. Skill 2 needs analysis. We're doing better than I thought. We're at 64%. We're not green. We're not perfect. We're not awesome. Okay? But setting solid appointment here, we're getting killed. We're at almost failure, and you need to be able to set a solid appointment if you're going to succeed. So we need to get this green. And I'm going to take these 3 guys who got zeros and red, completely did not follow the setting solid appointment system at all, and I'm going to run a breakout session training them on how to do that better. Here, I'm properly presenting price. The team is averaging 55, but that's because these guys are doing it perfect. This guy's okay, while these 5 individuals here are horrible. So they're going to get a breakout session on properly presenting price, and they're going to have to watch the video, they're going to have to take a quiz, and they're going to have to get some group training on that, some tests. And that will help us significantly at the team level. Most importantly, when it comes to building a manager in training, we'll be able to pinpoint them on how to train their team across every development area that's necessary. Now, let's just say, for example, here that we looked at David Lee Roth and we said, okay, you're a big problem. We need to figure out what your problem is. So we go to the rep level summary. And actually, this example is built off Jimmy. So Jimmy Page here, he's good on salesmanship. He's mostly green. He's good on presentation, which is his second development area. Mostly green. Little bit of a challenge here in describing moving forward. And that's a very important part of the presentation, so we need to get him better at that quickly. On the script, he's actually pretty good on the script. He's got a 74% overall, mostly green. That's cool. But on product, he's a mess right here. He keeps messing this up. He messes radius up. He's okay on cost per click, but it's not strong enough yet. He does great, or he does horrible on the system feed, tries to hide it. He's afraid of it, but does great on the ad spend. Got a 0 on default billing, so no wonder that his welcome calls are having issues. Describes the account manager perfect, but overall his product area needs to be improved ASAP, and this system will help us identify that. Now in the third report, we'll be able to click in and say, okay, Jimmy clearly has these issues inside product. So let me go to Jimmy's critiques. And I go into his critiques, it pulls them all up. In this case, it defaults to salesmanship. So if I click product, this will all change to his product development area critiques. In which case I would say, okay, all right, critique number 3, he got red, red, red. He's an absolute mess, scored 46%. Over here in this area, setting solid appointment, all reds, very bad. I need to work with him. He did okay here. We clearly met with him. He did better. Then he fell asleep again, and we got to wake him up. Wake him up. Okay. So this will provide us the detail. Now, here's the key. If I want to see what happened on this critique right here, I click the critique, and it takes me to the actual critique review, which shows his name, the date of the review, whatever the unique identifier was, phone call critique 3 with Paul Rogers. And the event was a phone call critique. Okay, so let's look at his salesmanship area. Here's everything. He asked his open-ended questions. He scored an 8 there. He asked how many clients are you working with. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did this. So this is all fine. Okay, but in setting solid appointment, he only scored a 5 on establishing himself as an authority figure. So this is big and red and horrendous because you must establish yourself as an authority figure in order to get someone to show up to your appointment. Okay. He also did not agree on what he was supposed to bring to the appointment. He did not agree on the value to bring to the appointment. He got a 0 on that. So that's a big problem. He also didn't mention the appointment time at least 3 times. He got a big fat no there. So that's a big problem. We got to meet with Jimmy ASAP. And here you can see in the notes, rep did X, Y, and Z good, specifically at 5 minutes, 29 seconds into the call, but he did not mention the appointment time at all, and the customer was running from him. So we know how to critique this, or we know how to work with him on this. Then we go down and we look at the script and we say, okay, script, he got a 9. Yes, he did it. 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 Bucket was correct. No, Bucket was not correct. Auction environment was correct, but his cost per click was not correct. We clicked no there. So let's see what happened. Rep did company talk and target perfect. Rep did not touch on the bucket and quoted a cost per click at 50 cents and $2, way below the industry standard at 2 minutes 25 seconds into the call. So we can now go and meet with him with specifics as to what the challenge is on that actual critique that we clicked on over here because we saw all this red. Okay. Now, most importantly, here, let's just say for fun right here, right? Setting solid appointment. Here are the elements within that skill that we need to critique, right? And then this whole area is red here. So now we click Setting Solid Appointment Best Practices, and that takes us to this screen, which has the training video, has the training document, it has audio samples, and it has a quiz that he can take. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we build a scalable training system. So once again, we want to build it generically so we can fill in the content later for any position. We just need a system that will add department, add team, add a role, add the development area, and then add skills and events to these items. So this way, we can add an employee that will have phone call events that will require these salesmanship skills, that will be in this development area, that will be assigned to the closing role on Scott's team in the Department of Direct Sales, which will produce us these reports for him us at the team level, summary by employee development area, the actual critiques and what happened on them, and then a link to each individual critique where we can review the details, which will then take us to the best practices. So I'm sure there's lots of questions. Contact me anytime. Thank you.